Hi there, and welcome to Maritime Punk. This week I have Russ Rankin, lead singer for punk legends Good Riddance. So thanks for being here, Russ.
Thanks for having me.
So can you take me back to the early days? What do you remember of the punk rock scene when you started getting involved with it?
I was a fan of the music before I really started going to shows a lot. So I think just getting into the Dead Kennedys and bands like that, Bay Area bands, California bands, TSOL, Adolescence, stuff like that. And then I went to a lot of shows in Berkeley in the East Bay up here at a club called Gilman Street. Saw a lot of great shows there. I would go every weekend with some friends. That was like the early through the mid 80s, I guess.
So who were some bands that provided inspiration to you as a musician when you're starting to write and perform music?
Definitely Bad Religion, Articles of Faith, the Cro-Mags, Bad Brains. Who else? I mean, the Dead Kennedys for sure. I just was super into. I was always drawn to the more political bands.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to emulate my early stabs at songwriting.
Yeah. I guess that kind of leads into my next question. Do you find it kind of odd that people are commenting on punk rock band pages such as Dead Kennedys with comments such as "stick to music, stay out of politics"? Are there so many people that are that far removed from what the bands are actually singing?
There seems to be. I can't believe anybody would say that on a Dead Kennedys page. That's pretty crazy. Um, that happens to. I mean, it happens to me on social media all the time. There's somebody that says I'm their favorite singer, and they're also they're disappointed in me with my worldview, and I just think that's interesting. Like if I vehemently disagreed with somebody's worldview who was an artist, I just probably wouldn't care to follow them or follow their career or purchase their their output. So it's interesting. Like, and then some people on social media who feel the same way I do, they come on and they go after these people who are coming after me, saying like, "How come you guys are so political? I wish you were just the Good Riddance I used to know," stuff like that. But I think it's cool. I don't want to have an echo chamber. I think we need pluralism. I think we need the ability to accept more than one idea and look at it and have discussions and conversations about it. So I don't want to just be preaching to the converted. So I think it's cool if people who have a different worldview pop onto my social media account, for example, or listen to a Good Riddance album, for example, and are introduced with an idea that is maybe contrary or novel to them. And the reason I say that is because my worldview was shaped by that same experience, by listening to bands and being presented with information that I didn't have before or that maybe wasn't in my wheelhouse, and being forced to consider it, being forced to like take a look at it for its merits and do my own research and come around to different ideas. So I think it's important.
Yeah. So I mean, looking back to as a teenager when I first got involved with the punk rock scene, I think there was a lot of topics that were just not spoken of on TV by your family, and punk music was a way to explore and learn about different things that people just weren't talking about. So I think that's such an important aspect of it.
Absolutely. I mean, I was radicalized by punk and hardcore music a couple different times, and I'm grateful. Like I'm the person I am, and I see the world the way I do because of that stuff, because of pluralism, because of the ability to accept and consider points of view or information that may be different or novel to what I had previously.
Yeah. So now, as a Canadian, I can't finish interviewing you without talking a bit of hockey. So, uh, what can you tell me a bit about how you fell in love with hockey and kind of how it led you to where you are today with your career in scouting?
Well, this is going to date me, but I watched the 1980 Winter Olympics. I was very young, and I just fell in love with the speed and the color and the violence of hockey at that point, and then just scrambled to try to watch as much hockey as I could, which wasn't easy. Growing up in a small beach town in California, and yeah, I just fell in love with the game and have been that way ever since. And in the '90s, the Sharks came to the Bay Area, so that's about a half hour from my house. So I got to see NHL hockey finally, which was awesome. I started playing adult rec league hockey, and still doing that. Had a game last night at 11:15. It was great, and I started scouting in 2007. 2000, yeah, I think 2007 for the Kootenay Ice, which is a team in the Western Hockey League. If you're in the Maritimes, it's like same thing as like the Quebec League.
Yeah, we follow the
As far as like
I actually
age
used
and
to have a
stuff.
sports show that
Yeah,
was exclusively about the Q, so I'm quite familiar with junior hockey.
yeah. So it's another league in the CHL, and I scouted California for Kootenay for 5 years. We won the Western Hockey League championship in 2011. 2012, I switched to the Tri-City Americans, and I've been with the Tri-City Americans scouting California ever since.
So what are your thoughts on the NHL getting the green light to play at the Olympics? Who do you have, Canada or US?
I'm an American, so of course I'm gonna wave the flag. The
Yeah.
only time I'm remotely patriotic is during IIHF sanctioned events.
It's pretty wild to think of some of those lineups, though. I was looking at just the idea of Bedard, McDavid, and Crosby being on a team, and even some of the other teams that you wouldn't think would be strong, like Finland, Sweden, they're still stacked, so anything could happen, really.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I didn't like it when the NHLers started going into the Olympics, but like warmed up to it, and I think it's cool to see the best.
So I'm going to catch you off guard here and throw a little rapid fire questions at you. Just say the first thing that comes to the top of your head, and you don't have to overthink it. So, favorite NHL player of all time?
Ted Lindsay.
Favorite song that they play at NHL rinks?
I'm a big fan of Mr. Brightside by the Killers. It's not a hockey game till you hear Mr. Brightside.
Yeah. Will Ovi beat Gretzky?
I don't think so. I think it's amazing that he's even as close as he is. But I don't think he'll quite get there.
Wildest game you've ever been to?
We were playing a show in Quebec, and there was a hockey rink across the parking lot from where the venue where the show was. And I went over there. I was like, "Oh, cool! I didn't know this city had a team. Didn't know what league it was." And so I went over there to watch some of the game before the show started, and it ended up being that crazy Quebec semi-pro league with all the fights.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of it. And so I got in there and I paid and I sat down, and then opening face-off, line brawl. Next face-off, line brawl. Next face-off, line brawl. I was like, what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah.
And yeah, and then I went over to the venue, and someone that worked there was like, oh yeah, all they do is fight in that league. So it was wild. It was nuts. It wasn't even hockey. I don't know what it was. Crazy.
Yeah. That leads into my next question. Song you'd play during a hockey fight?
Maybe Borstal Breakout by Sham 69.
How about a song for a training or a warm-up sequence, and you can't use the Rocky song?
Lexicon Devil by the Germs.
So what's next for you and Good Riddance and your music career? What do you kind of have on the go, and what's your aspirations for the next little bit?
2024 is going to be pretty quiet for Good Riddance. I think we're working on a new album, so busy writing, getting songs together, rehearsing, things like that. Hopefully recording sometime later this year, and then 2025 should be back pretty busy again for us.
Okay. Do you think you'll ever be able to make it down on the east side of Canada at any point? I know it's trickier for bands to make
We
it past
have
Quebec, but
we have before. We've played Fredericton.
Okay.
We've played Halifax. My other band played St. John. A couple other places over there.
yeah, I'm in Moncton, but We can
Yeah,
make
we
the
never
trip to
played
Fredericton
Moncton.
easily.
Yeah, I know our very first time across Canada in '95, we played all the way out to Halifax. And that was really cool. Like we played two shows in Halifax, actually 2 nights in a row at this small club, and we had a really good show in Fredericton. So I think it's just a matter of logistics and making it worthwhile because
Yeah.
it's a pretty good haul.
Wish you best of luck. Thanks for taking the time to chat, and looking forward to the next album.
Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.